Today we're going to talk about techniques to lower stress and anxiety for this coronavirus time and for any other time. Let's start with, what are the symptoms of stress and anxiety? We all experience stress and anxiety in different ways for a variety of reasons. We may get that uneasy feeling in the pit of our stomach. We may become overly energetic and unable to relax. Gotta move, gotta keep moving. Or the exact opposite. We have no energy, I just gotta lay down. We may feel a strong impulse to change what we're doing. If we're driving a car, we gotta stop. If we're outside, we gotta get inside. If we're inside, we have to get outside. Or to control what is happening. Turn the lights down, light some candles, put some soft music on. Or we may experience a sudden urge to indulge in food, beverage, or smoke. Why this webinar? This pandemic has made it difficult to manage stress levels because we are in the information age, and information is fed to us constantly from multiple sources. The news is much more stress-inducing than calmness-inducing because they report on issues, not solutions, on death and injury versus recovery and joy. With the stay-at-home orders in place, we have never experienced this degree of isolation. Our entertainment options have become very limited. Our lives have changed drastically as daily routines have been constrained or even canceled. All of this takes us out of our comfort zones, which makes us downright uncomfortable. Our perception is key to how we feel. While we are confined to our homes during this worldwide pandemic, and as we continuously watch the breaking news and talk to our fellow man about what's going on, the majority of the information we receive is creating fear. Our nervous system reacts to this, and that reaction is mostly dictated by our perceptions. So if the news is causing fear, which is what it's designed to do, our bodies are responding with stress and anxiety, nervousness even. And since our nervous system runs our body, it really controls how we feel. Everything, all stimulus, affects our nervous system. Therefore, our perception of everything affects how we feel. So quite simply, if we want to feel better, it's important to change our perception. Now that's a lot easier said than actually done. Because I don't mean, let's just think positive. Positive thoughts are great, but often they won't help much, or for very long, because our habitual fear-based thoughts will come back. So let's talk about how we're going to do this in an effective, lasting, sustainable way. First, we've got to remember perception drives function. If our perception is, this is scary, our nervous system signals our body to respond with the scary responses, producing stress, anxiety, nervousness, tension, and things like that. So let's talk about how to lower the level of our reactions and reduce how many things we're responding to in the first place. To do that, an easy place to start is breathing. For most people, the feeling of fear is accompanied by shortness of breath and an increased heart rate. Every cell in our body needs oxygen to function properly. And the levels of oxygen in our body are directly affected by how we breathe and how we use our body. Studies show that deep breathing slows the heart rate and lowers our body's stress responses. For example, when we have just gotten through a stressful situation and we get that feeling of relief and take a big breath and say, phew, big sigh. That's our nervous system returning to normal because its perception is the danger has passed. A controlled breathing technique that we really like to use is called box breathing. And this helps control our nervous system and changes our focus. To help this be easy to use, practice makes permanent. So in this technique, we simply breathe in to the count of 3 through our nose, if that's comfortable, hold our breath for the count of 3, and then breathe out through our mouth comfortably. So let's try it now. Breathe with me. Breathe into the count of 3, 2, 3. Hold your breath for 3, and then just breathe out naturally. While practicing this exercise, our thoughts may try to interrupt, like, what are you doing? And when they do, just tell them, not now, it's breathing time. Try to remember we're actually trying to train our nervous system while we're doing this. We're training our nervous system to be calmer upon demand. So setting that intention while we're doing it, what I mean is thinking about, I am training my nervous system to not be reactive and just relax. And practicing it will help our nervous system comply and give us calmness rather than those fear thoughts that we may be used to. This simple technique may be applied for at least 3 purposes. First, I recommend using this box breathing technique at least once or twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes to give our nervous system a break and enhance our ability to relax. Because remember, practice makes permanent. Second, I use this technique for 1 to 5 minutes to help myself feel more calm when the tension sets in, like at the end of a long day. Third, the form of breathing helps calm me when I'm faced with a stressful situation. This enables me to behave in a more rational way rather than on impulse. This box breathing technique is easy to implement, and its long-term effect on the nervous system helps us to stay present, poised, and comfortable, even in stressful situations. So let's get back to shifting our perception. Our habits define our comfort zone. Unfortunately, this applies to both the bad habits and as well as the good ones. The way we perceive the world is a result of our experiences and the lessons we have learned from those experiences throughout our lives. It is difficult for our nervous system to be comfortable with the drastic changes the world is currently experiencing. So if we practice box breathing on a daily basis and breathe and reassure ourselves with a phrase like, I'm okay right now. I'm going to work on enjoying today no matter what, will go a long way in helping us to remain positive and weather the storm in a much more positive and relaxed way. This self-talk shifts our perspective from the fear projected in the news and all around us to the simple truth, I'm okay right now. And chances are, if I am careful, I will stay okay. So it's also important to redirect our negative thinking when it resurfaces. Negative thoughts are akin to our system's effort to survive, so it's linked to our survival. Our system is saying, let's figure out what we should avoid so we can be okay. This becomes self-sabotaging and self-defeating, especially when most of the time we actually are okay in the now. Going over hypotheticals again and again never helps. It's an indication that we are most likely trying to reconcile something useful from our past, or we are attempting to resolve something that may or may not happen in the future. These hypotheticals actually cause our nervous system to respond in a stressful way right now. So the next time you find yourself thinking about what could have happened differently, or what could be, stop. Practice box breathing. Bring yourself back to the present moment with the same statement previously suggested. I'm okay right now. I'm going to try to enjoy today. The best golfer is not thinking about the 18 holes. He's only thinking about that shot he's about to take. This is how we can excel in our life. If you focus on the now instead of everything else, you can live a much more enjoyable life. We want to be fully present in the moment, as fully in the moment as possible. Even if it's better, we can feel lucky to be in the moment or not. So try to make it a habit to appreciate what we have now. Celebrate the small stuff. I like to say, yes! And the way life has become much more enjoyable for me, and a lot less stressful. I have recently heard people say that they are bored. So let's talk about the cause of boredom. Because trying to fix, I'm bored, I could tell you all sorts of things that you could do. But guess what? The cause is based on our perspective. And dealing with that cause makes it a lot easier to deal with the boredom. and our perspective directly affects our enjoyment of life. Most of us are lucky enough to have many options of things we can do, yet we focus on what we have to do. This practice of focusing on have-tos can be tedious and limiting. So shifting to a thought pattern that there are lots of things that we get to do instead of have to do, and celebrating that also makes life much more enjoyable. For example, realizing that we're lucky to be in the comfort of our home, doing whatever is boring us, and celebrating that will often help us feel much better. So in closing, I want to briefly review the ABCs of what we've covered today. 1, fear is debilitating, so let's move to love thoughts as much as possible. Breathing techniques such as box breathing are a great way to help shift what our body is doing and what we're thinking about. We can control how our nervous system is changing on a daily basis, and a great place to start is with the practice of box breathing at the beginning and the end of each day. Shifting our thought from the hypotheticals to the mind frame of enjoying now is also a key component to stress-reduced living. And then realizing that we are lucky because we get to do X, Y, Z versus thinking that we have to will help enjoy life so much more. So if you've enjoyed our webinar, please go to our website and check out all of the great things that we can help you with. I'm excited to let you know that as a taste of our life-altering program, for watching this webinar, we are offering a 40% discount on our proprietary NeuroPath Quant, which is how each system and each program starts for us. This is a proprietary numerical scaling of your state of mind that is not available anywhere else in the world. It will give you an easy to understand frame of reference for how you feel and how you function and why. And then we can help you make whatever changes you would like to make. Many of our clients have described this alone as life-changing information. So once again, thank you for watching.